So today we're trying out some pairings. We're going to do wine with microgreens. We have Michelle here, who's an experienced wine connoisseur.
Yes, I've worked in the industry. I worked with Louise for many years, and I teach at the Canadian Food and Wine Institute as well. So I teach marketing to winemaking students.
Yep.
So
we have a master of wine here with us, Louise. She has an amazing resume in wine and experience, and I'd love to share some more about it and let Louise speak.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Clifford. I'm excited to be here to explore the wine and microgreens pairing. I think it's a fantastic idea. I'm really excited about how much flavor the microgreens pack and how that would influence the wine pairing. So this is going to be a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think this has ever been done before, so it'll be a first, which will be very exciting. So for the first wine pairing, I think we're starting with which one?
Well, I think we decided to start with the Divergence Sauvignon Blanc. I just absolutely love this wine. We've chosen all Niagara wines for our wine pairing today. Niagara makes some absolutely delicious wine, and we have some of the best. Lots of great flavor intensity in these wines, which I think will match with the flavor intensity of the microgreen, so it should be good.
Of course, yeah, microgreens have such an amazing different flavor palette and can be paired with so many different things. So strategically pairing them with some great wines from Niagara will be awesome. So we'll try out estate greens, microgreens with these great wines. So yeah, let's start with the Sauvignon Blanc.
Sure.
And we'll pair it with some pea shoots.
Okay. So just to talk about a few principles of food and wine pairing, just to sort of set the stage. The first thing that I always say to people when we're talking about food and wine pairing is drink what you like and eat what you like. That's the first rule, because you have to enjoy what you're going to eat and what you're going to drink. But within that, one of the really great things about the microgreens that we were talking about earlier is their ability to layer flavor onto another dish. So when we're pairing food and wine, we're thinking about the flavor of the dish as a whole. So not necessarily just the main protein component or not just the side, but actually how does that dish come across as a whole? And that's what you're pairing the wine to.
So our pea shoots are our most popular microgreen. The pea shoots are delicious. They're very subtle. They're not too strong like the future microgreens that we're going to be trying. So I think it'll be a great one to start with.
I'm really sorry that I poured for myself first, Michelle.
no, that's okay. That's okay. We were close.
I was really focused on tasting this wine. So just another introduction to this wine. This is winemaker Jeff Moot, who's making Divergence wines right here in Niagara. And this is the Sauvignon Blanc from the Hughes Vineyard in Lincoln Lakeshore. Absolutely gorgeous wine. It's got a little bit of French oak on it, which gives it a nice, rich texture and lots of flavor. And I think it's going to be a great pairing. So let's talk about what we chose to pair with today. We thought, we'd keep it simple. We're out here in this beautiful vineyard, enjoying this lovely day. And we thought we'd pair with, cheese and crackers. We've got some hummus, like just things that, typical charcuterie that you might have around. And we're going to top with the pea shoots to start. And we're expecting the pea shoots to be the star of the show, right? And parallel the flavors that we're tasting in the wine. So I'm just going to jump in and try.
Yeah, but while using microgreens, you can also make the dish look really nice as well. So as you'll see right now, Preston has shared some great looking plates of microgreens, pea shoots being used specifically with crackers, with hummus, with cheese, with so many different things. It just looks great, it tastes great, and it adds so much more to the experience. So you can share your wines and consume your products with so much more emphasis and passion than you normally would.
Okay, here I go. Cheers, everyone. Those are good.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. The pea shoots actually have a lot more flavor than you would normally expect them to have. You get that full burst of pea flavor, even though it doesn't really look like something that would have that amount of flavor. It's something very unique. It's something you truly have to experience for yourself.
So much freshness.
So fresh,
in every bite, yeah.
Yeah. So all our pea shoots are grown hydroponically, so they're grown straight in water. We don't use dirt or soil whatsoever, and that accentuates the flavor profiles because it's really focusing on growing and not focusing on the environment itself because it's set so perfectly.
Yeah, and I just took a bite and a sip, and I love the synergy that's going on. This, the microgreens, the greenness, the freshness is really bringing out those same qualities in the wine. And I think the pairing is absolutely perfect.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
good.
Yeah. I had it just on the cheese without the cracker, and I found that it was that almost like when you're having those fresh spring peas, and it's just like bursting in your mouth. And the Sauv Blanc is I think of spring when I drink it. It's a very springy wine with bursting with flavors. So the two were just kind of erupting in my mouth together.
I agree. Spring, summer, eating al fresco, it really, absolutely. And now, you had some great suggestions, Clifford, too, about other ways to use the microgreens, like the pea shoots. Like you could dress up lots of different meals. So what else would you top with the microgreens?
100%. Yeah, pea shoots are, in my opinion, great fillers. So anything you would use lettuce with, pea shoots are a great addition or change to the dish. So if you want to make a salad, a wrap, or something very full of leafy greens that you would normally use, you can add pea shoots to add that nutritional flavor as well as that look, right? Because it looks so nice. You have the tendrils, you have the vines, you have all of that, and it just adds so much characteristic to the plate. And that's where I would put pea shoots 100%.
Yeah, you're layering flavors, right? And
yes.
I think that actually makes the experience even better when you have those layers of flavors, and absolutely elevates the whole experience. I like to think of food and wine pairing as, I say this a lot, it's when 1 and 1 equals more than 2. Like it just makes the food taste better, it makes the wine taste better. And I think by adding the microgreens to whatever dish you're cooking, I think it elevates the experience. I'm definitely a fan.
Good. We want to move on to broccoli then next, I guess.
And I think, broccoli is my favorite vegetable, by the way. But you said having the greens was even a better experience. So how is it different than eating regular broccoli?
So broccoli it doesn't have all that heaviness to it. So when you eat broccoli, there's a lot more of an earthy tone to it. And I think that's where a lot of people don't enjoy the parts of broccoli because it's so dense. When you eat the broccoli microgreens, you get that flavor note a lot louder because it's cut before it can start adding all that chlorophyll to add that vegetable taste that a lot of people don't like. So it can actually accentuate a dish and add that flavor that you just want to add a little bit to. You don't always have to overpower it. Yeah, you can just add a little bit here and there, and then you're actually eating a dish that's so much more better for you because it's so healthy for you. A handful of broccoli microgreens has 40 times more nutritional value than a handful of fully grown broccoli.
Really? Wow.
So that's a fun fact for you. Broccoli microgreens are one of the best microgreens that you can eat nutritionally.
That's fascinating.
And what are they rich in?
Yeah, so broccoli microgreens are very rich in vitamin C and vitamin E. Yeah. And they're very good for heart health. That is something that a lot of people ask me about, especially for different generations. As you look for specific foods that really help you long term, broccoli is definitely one of those microgreens. So we'll try the broccoli now. I guess we've talked about it enough. Might as well try it.
Anticipation.
Go for
The anticipation. Broccoli is my favorite microgreen. I don't know if I've said this yet, but it is definitely my favorite, and it's a lot of fun to grow. Yeah. I just love it because of the...
Look how cute it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
it looks like a 4-leaf clover.
Looks so pretty, eh?
We're going to be lucky after this.
Like that.
I think it's our lucky day.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do the same here.
I can take the peas if
Are we done with the peas? Okay.
put them away for now. Try them with the other ones.
Jump in, Michelle.
All right. Do like a little broccoli wrap here.
Broccoli wrapped with some cheese,
Sorry.
hummus and crackers.
Yeah, hummus,
Now, in
crackers,
terms
broccoli.
of tasting wine with food, sip of the wine, food, then wine and food, or
I don't think it matters because eventually they're each going to follow each other anyways, right? If I wasn't familiar with this wine, I would taste it by itself first, just to get myself acquainted with the wine, of course, but I know this wine inside and out.
Yeah.
So I think because you're going to sip, bite alternately, so I don't think it really makes a difference.
Yeah.
One of the really interesting things about food and wine pairing is the wine, if it's got nice fresh acidity, which these wines do here, it actually cleanses the palate and allows you to taste the food even better. So there's actually some interactions going on there that heighten your experience of the food. So here's my broccoli microgreens. I'm going to give this a try. I love it.
So it's a little earthy. It's a little bit different from a fully grown broccoli flavor, but it's different. It's something that you got to try. It's not something that you expect to taste when you put it on a plate.
Yeah. Yes, it does taste green and fresh, but not as green as the peas. The peas are really bright green. This is a little more of a subtle green flavor, but it doesn't have that bitterness that broccoli can have sometimes, which I think is a really nice addition, like you were explaining how it's grown. But it has a really long finish to it. Like, have you ever noticed, like, the taste just keeps going, which is going to be really neat because it's still there in my mouth when I go to pair the wine.
It is definitely a unique flavor and not what I usually expect, 100%.
Well, honestly, I like the pairing with the pea shoots better.
Me too. If
I can be honest.
No, that's good.
I want to try. We have other wines here today, and I want to play around because part of this is experimental. Like you said, I've certainly never done this before. So it's, we can pair on theory, but then actually trying the wine and the microgreens together, I think we're going to come out with the real answers. So to me, it's not bad, but I think the microgreens were better on their own and the wine's better on its own. So I think we definitely have to revisit the broccoli with some of the other wines we have today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So it's a pea shoot and Sauvignon Blanc
that's the winner.
We'll be pairing a lot of different ones today, and we will be crisscrossing and retrying things. So yeah, these are kind of, we set pre-organized, but like Louise said, you don't know until you try it. So we got to come out, we got to try it, and we'll share it with you, and then you can share it within your space or within your customers and experiences.
So since we've got the broccoli going, should we try with some other wine here?
Of course.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
What's the next wine we should do with broccoli?
I'd like to try the Chardonnay. Good choice, right. So this is the Gooder Chardonnay. It's got a little bit of French oak on it. And I think sort of the level of intensity of the broccoli and the Chardonnay will go really well together. So I'm just going to open this one here. We're going to try that. So the winery is the Gooder. They're located in Beamsville.
Okay.
And the winemaker is Ilya Senchuk, who's quite a well-known and awarded winemaker here in Niagara. So yeah, this is their Lincoln Lakeshore 2021 Chardonnay. They do an unoaked Chard as well, but this one, as I said, is a little bit of oak, which I think will be really nice. I tried to pick wines that we do really well here in Niagara. So some grape varieties that we're known for doing really well. And again, also wines with lots of flavor.
So this is the broccoli with the,
It's okay.
Yeah.
with the Chardonnay. So why did you choose the Chardonnay to pair with the broccoli? I know it's kind of hard because I just asked you you just started tasting it. But
But I chose it because the flavor profile of Chardonnay is a little less green or aromatic than the Sauvignon Blanc.
okay.
It's more like orchard fruit. It's got that French oak, which gives it a little bit of toastiness. It's more of a subtle, elegant flavor, and I feel like this is the same level of flavor as we've got with the broccoli.
Yeah.
And I really think it goes well, actually. I think this is the winner.
Yes.
Because I think I've said, but you want to match flavor intensity with flavor intensity.
Right.
Okay, so with the pea shoots and the Sauv Blanc, both were quite intense.
Yep.
And with the Good Earth Chardonnay and the broccoli, I think we're coming down on that intensity of green flavor, and it's more but a subtle flavor. There is a little bit of earthiness here in both, which I think is nice. And I think the fruit here, the appley fruit, it plays off the greenness in the broccoli, but they're both in the same register. So I think this does really good. I am turning my household into a microgreen household. I can tell you that much.
You're enjoying them?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah. I'm also thinking about my daughter too, and I think just the cuteness of them. I think that this might be a great way to get your kids into vegetables, hey?
That is
100%.
a brilliant observation.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to grow them.
Yeah.
It's so much fun because
okay.
they grow so fast that one day you're looking at it and it's just the seed with the root, taproot coming out, and then the next day you see a fully grown piece.
Yeah.
And it's like it's growing right in front of your eyes.
I know she would
really
like that
exciting.
part of it. I know
Yeah.
she would like to watch them
It's a
grow.
lot of fun.
Do you have a system for people to do this at home?
So we do.
Yeah.
We are developing and are improving on our modular vertical rack system. It's an NFT system. So what that is called is a nutrient film technique. So
Okay.
it's a hydroponic style of growing where you can grow pretty much anything on these racks. These racks take up about 8 square feet and they're about 70 inches tall. We can vary them based on what you're growing and how you're growing. But yeah, it's pretty much an automated watering system, long story short. It just makes your growing experience easier and more fun because there's so many people out there say, I have a black thumb. I can't keep things alive. I don't know when to water, how to water, overwater. So we take that difficult watering step away and let you experience the grow as you watch it.
Wow.
So you set it up and then you kind of forget it. It's one of those things where you just kind of let it do its thing and then take from it as you need it. So you can harvest
Love that.
directly from the rack
Yeah.
and place it on your plate. And I don't know how you get any more farm to table than that.
Year round, right?
Yeah, and you can do it year round. You can do it
Yeah.
indoors. We started indoors, favoring this system indoors. You can grow outdoors with it as well, but there's so many different opportunities that you can do with these grow racks.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you can even have them at your tasting experience as well if you wanted to share how you're growing these greens or exactly where these greens are coming from.
Yeah.
So what wine should we do next? Should we the Viognier?
The Viognier,
Viognier?
yeah, very special grape variety. So we're back to Divergence. I think Viognier would be a really good one to do next. So if you're not familiar with this grape variety, it's also got a lot of aromatic intensity, a lot of flavor. It's got some honey notes, some peach notes. It's really good. It could handle foods that are spicy. Right, so we've got some microgreens that have some natural spiciness to them.
Yes.
But this is a dry wine, so it finishes with very little residual sugar. So all that aromatics and flavor, just because it smells and tastes fruity, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be sweetness to it. We do have a wine coming up that does have a little sweetness to it, and that also plays well with foods with a lot of maybe spiciness or intensity that way. But we'll start here with the Divergence Viognier.
Awesome. So the pairings of microgreens that I would recommend with a Viognier would be a radish or a mustard. Daikon radish is the variety that we grow. We also use China rose. The reason why we do that is because they have different colored stems, believe it or not.
Oh.
So you add a little bit of color to your plate, a little bit of purple, a little bit of white, a little bit of red, make it a lot of fun, right? One of my other favorite varieties of microgreens. Radish I put in a lot of things like wraps.
Yeah.
Pizzas, they're great on pizzas.
Oh, really?
They add that little bite that you need to a Blanco or a margarita pizza kind of
Yeah.
thing. It adds that little bit of difference to it, as well as burgers or even breakfast sandwiches. Breakfast
yeah.
sandwiches is really good.
Look at how pretty those are.
Aren't
Yeah,
they
they're
gorgeous?
gorgeous.
See that on.
Yeah.
You see the purple stems and the white stems, and
Yeah.
they just add that color to the plate.
That's such an important part of enjoying your food and wine too, is the visual. Like you can't underestimate how important it is how something looks, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is really beautiful. Talk about elevating your meal.
And as it is spicy, it has a little note that catches up to you. So first you kind of bite into it you experience it a little bit, and
Yeah.
then that spiciness just starts to
In
ramp
the
up.
finish, yeah.
Yeah.
In the wine world, we call that the finish, right? And all the microgreens that I tasted so far have that long, lingering finish, which really brings forward a whole different range of flavors. I agree with you. That's where that little bit of radishy heat comes from. Certainly not hot. To me, in my world, like a mild heat, just like a nice,
More peppery.
yeah, more peppery at the end there.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because when people ask me, what can I use microgreens for? And to be honest, you can put microgreens on almost anything and in almost any dish. I like to say anything you would put salt and pepper on, you can put microgreens on.
Yeah.
That's how versatile they are, because you can use them to add that little bit of spice that you need. You can add that little bit of sweetness that you need. You can add all those little notes that you're missing from your traditional dish that you just think it's just missing that little extra bit, right? And make it beautiful in the process.
And we're all trying to eat less salt.
Yeah.
So that's
100%.
fabulous. I think that pairing is spectacular.
I like it too, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like it brought out sort of the melon note in the wine. So harmonizing with the greenness in the radish, but also it brought out the honey note, I think, because of the contrast between the radish and the Viognier. It really made that honey note pop. And with that long length with the radish, wow, that's really, really interesting
But
to
I
me.
found that the wine rose up to that occasion.
Yeah.
When that finish came, and I felt that the peppery finish kind of come forward at the end. I felt like the wine.
The wine
kind
was
of
right
said,
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm here too.
I
And
agree.
the two were kind of. There was like a finish that amplified.
They were
a little bit.
finishing,
each other, yeah.
hand in hand. Yeah, I agree with that. And that is a sign of a well-made wine, as a long finish, for sure. I like what you're saying about a replacement for salt. So we don't use salt very often in our house, but I love flavor. And like I mentioned, I do like intensity of flavor. So I really feel, because salt's basically an amplifier of flavor, right? Like that's why we're putting it on, because we want more out of our food. What a great alternative to getting that more intensity of flavor out of your food. Yeah.
And another heart, even without what's in it nutritionally, that's a heart smart move right there.
100%.
So
Yeah.
They're very good for you, and they're just a lot of fun to eat.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
they're a lot of fun to eat. So I think that we can transition to a similar style microgreen and kind
Yeah.
of stay on the same train. So another spicy variety that I like to grow is a yellow mustard. Even though it's not really yellow, when you grow it as a smaller variety of microgreen, it's more of a purplish. It is a great addition to any dish that you think use a little bit of bite to it.
Does it taste like mustard?
It's a little bit different. It's not exactly like mustard, but it's close.
Okay.
It's close. It's hard to describe. It is a little bit sharp. It does have that sharp note to it. Some people say it's spicier, some say it's not. So it'll be interesting to hear what your opinions are about it.
Also very cute.
Yes.
Right.
I think I need a bit more wine.
I really like the purple. Purple's one of my favorite colors, and it helps add to the dish quite a bit.
Yeah, this
Visually,
is really
yeah.
pretty. Like, look at that.
Makes anything look good.
Yeah.
And tastes good too.
Yeah. You look like a culinary hero.
Yeah, like even if you were serving a charcuterie plate, like doesn't that look good? Like it just elevates it, right? Yeah.
So with the Viognier,
Okay, let's check it out.
we'll see how it goes. So mustard, I like to add to pizzas. I like to add to burgers. Burgers is really good with.
Oh, 100%.
Or even just like a little bit of a meat board, right? Because it can handle the competition with the strong flavored meats. It can really stand its place. So it's a powerful, very powerful flavor, but it's a little bit different from the radish. So it's not just spicy, it also has a little bit of, I want to say, sharpness and fuzziness to it.
the heat really comes at the end, hey? Isn't that interesting? Okay, let me take a little pinch here.
It's quite a surprise. You don't expect the punch that comes from such a little piece.
That is incredible. Like, I could just envision so many ways to use that.
And on its own, quite spicy too, hey?
Yeah, I mean, little
in
pork
a very good
tenderloin,
way.
that on top.
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect with
with
pork.
this wine.
Yeah.
With this wine, it's perfect because this Divergence Viognier has a lot of flavor intensity, right? And it is standing up to the flavor intensity of the mustard.
It is.
That is, yeah, that's a real winner. I think we've come up with some pretty solid pairings. You know, while we're here, this definitely is calling for the Riesling that we have.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if anything, it's a little bit of spice. Sometimes you can do an off-dry wine or a wine that's got a little bit of sweetness. So we're lucky because we have the Fougelaar Riesling today, the Niagara Peninsula Riesling, and this has a little bit of sweetness to it. So I think that's going to pair really nicely with the heat. I mean, if we can just go back to what you said about adding these to wraps, like I add heat to like a lot of things that I eat, and I would just tuck these in everywhere, right? A sandwich, a wrap, on a pizza, on a pasta. I think just to get that extra element of depth and heat is the way I would do it personally.
Yeah.
But the wine I'm sure you want to see is the Fougelaar Riesling, winemaker Mark P. Starr. This is a Niagara Peninsula wine, absolutely delicious. So let's taste this wine first on its own, just so we get a sense of what the wine is doing. Classic Riesling. It has nice mouth-watering acidity, which is a great food and wine complement. It's going to cleanse the palate when we take a bite of the food. And it's got a hint of sweetness, but it's perfectly balanced.
It's got that lemon drop finish.
Yeah, it's not like you're thinking sweet. You're not. You're just thinking, oh man, that's good. I could see.
Well, it's like it's got the tartness, but the sweet, like lemonade does.
That's right.
So,
oh yeah, that counterpoint. Yeah. So let's give it a try with the mustard, right? Okay, so here is the mustard microgreens and the Fougelaar Riesling. Just about the mustard. It starts out with a green note and then the heat comes in at the end, right?
Very sneaky. Very sneaky. And it doesn't taste exactly like what you expect it to taste like. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't taste like the yellow mustard you're used to.
No.
It's kind of it's similar to the radish, but different. And it's the aftertaste.
I got that kind
It's
of
the
like
aftertaste.
the cartoon
Yeah.
Michelle and I are having a moment.
We're having a moment. It's like, oh my god.
This is absolutely brilliant.
I could die now and be happy.
Yeah, this is really gorgeous. So when that heat comes in, and then you taste the wine and the sweetness, the natural sweetness of the wine, and the heat,
they're just
perfect together. Yeah, perfect together.
They're dancing.
So, I mean, you could add this to so many things and pair with Riesling. Like if you were doing a stir fry, if you were doing a pasta dish, anything where you wanted to add the heat and then pair it with the Riesling, really classic. Yeah, really classic.
But even so often I want to make whitefish, which is pretty boring on its own. And then your options are some sort of sauce, which are either canned or jarred, or you have to make something, or it's adding calories and fat if it's like a tartar sauce or something. So what a wonderful way to just add that flavor as a finish. Have the Riesling with it.
I love that.
And then it's just
I love the idea of adding flavor without weighing it down, physically weighing it down, or adding calories, or just with freshness.
You don't have to add all that seasoning. Like you don't have to marinate things. You can just cook it as you do, let it cook, and then add the flavor after, and really kind of mesh them together.
It's so pretty. I could just like a beautiful piece of halibut and that on top, some lemon and this wine. Oh.
Yeah, chef's kiss to that.
Chef's kiss.
Watch out, thyme and basil as just being the standard dish setter. We have microgreens now that can add all to it.
And again, the color, I mean, with that purple.
The purple way, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a vegetable that looks like that?
No.
Not really.
No,
really.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Awesome. So that worked out well. We consider that a success.
Yes,
check mark.
exactly.
Next.
mark.
Check.
Yeah.
And a lovely wine.
Awesome. Thank you so much to our amazing sponsors, Divergence, Good Earth, and Fogelar for supplying these amazing wines. We'd love for you to try them out. Please go check them out. Cheers. Welcome back. We are pairing our microgreens with some fantastic Niagara wines today, and I'd love to share more. So we are going on to the Purple Kohlrabi. It is a unique brassica, similar to a broccoli. It is purple stemmed, which is really cool on a plate, and it tastes really good. It doesn't have that strong flavor profile that other mustards or loud radishes have, but it does have a good flavor profile. So we were pairing our Purple Kohlrabi with a Chardonnay today.
Yeah, so I wasn't familiar with Purple Kohlrabi, so we had to take a little bite first so I could taste it, and it definitely had a nutty taste to me. Nutty, a little bit radishy, more mild than the mustard and the radish that we tasted before. So I thought the perfect pairing we're going back to the Good Earth Chardonnay, because I think, again, with the flavor intensity is going to be a match, and I think there'll be some nice synergies there between the oak in the Chardonnay and sort of the little bit of a savory, nutty note with the Purple Kohlrabi. So we're going to try that.
Thank you.
Not a bad afternoon, hey Michelle?
Not a bad afternoon.
Yeah.
Tough day at the office.
In a vineyard, eating microgreens and drinking a wine.
I know.
What a great Friday, eh?
It's a first for me, but I feel like this is a game changer.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I might be on a slightly different path here now with my microgreen consumption. Okay, so we tried it on its own, and now we're going to pair it. Again, look at that beautiful stem, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I could
gorgeous.
just see that
Yeah.
looking so nice on so many dishes.
I think that works. I think our wine's getting a little bit warm out here on this nice warm day, but I think the flavor intensities are on point, and we're getting some parallels again between the toastiness of the oak and the nuttiness in the Purple Kohlrabi. But really, there's contrast too, because we're getting the green element here, the fresh greenness, and then more of that apple note in the wine. But I think so. We have some synergies and we have some contrast, and both work really well with wine pairing.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
And again, with pork, you know, with the apple note and the chard and the nuttiness. And
Good call. Yeah, that dressing up some pork would be great.
Yeah, or I'm thinking of a pasta, like maybe a pesto even, you know, that would...
I think you could,
Could you make a pesto with that? I bet you could.
100%.
Right?
Probably. Yeah, for sure.
I think so.
Make a pesto sauce using some nuts with that.
Yeah.
Olive oil, garlic, and then sprinkle some on top. to
I
finish
agree.
it.
Yeah,
would be
that would
really
be
nice.
good.
So we're going to add on to the nutty note and continue with sunflower then.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
It sounds delicious.
Perfect. So
And these look different too, don't
these
they?
are very different. Aesthetically, sunflower grows very different from other microgreens because of the seed. Because it has that hull on it, it grows with the hull to a certain point.
Oh, I see.
And then it spits the hull out. So there will be hulls in your container. Don't be surprised. Just don't add them to the plate.
I see. Okay. Now, what would you pair with this?
Oh, for as far as wine goes, I think because we talked about this nutty element carrying through to the sunflower, I think we're going to start with the Chardonnay, but we have some red wines today too. So I think we're going to start with Chardonnay, and then we're going to venture into some of Niagara's best known red grape varieties. So we have a Pinot Noir, we have a Gamay, and a Cabernet Franc. So let's pour some wine here, the Good Earth Chardonnay 2021. The Good Earth being one of the pioneers in the Niagara wine industry, established in 1998 in Beamsville. and they're just well loved. I bring out that wine and everyone thinks, oh, I just absolutely love the Good Earth. Cute little
wonderful restaurant.
Yeah,
too.
cute little farmhouse restaurant. Cooking classes. I went to a cooking class the other day.
Yeah.
Absolutely inspiring. The proprietor, Christine Flynn, genius chef, makes everything look
She's
easy.
A chef, yeah.
Yeah, it makes everything look easy.
Andrew Thorne.
That's right. Yeah. And yeah, so that's the Good Earth. Okay, so let's try with the sunflowers.
Sunflowers are great fillers as well, just like pea shoots. You can add them in wraps, you can add them in sandwiches, you can add them in pretty much anything that you just need a little bit
Michelle.
more.
These are for
more
me.
volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a texture here. They're weightier than some of the other microgreens. So that's going to be interesting because we talked about weight being an important principle with food and wine pairing.
Yep.
So with some extra weight here, I think this will be really interesting with some of the red wines we have coming up too.
And they definitely add that crunch factor. I could tell Michelle was biting into that. You can really hear that crunch, especially with the cracker.
Oh. I like that.
It's subtle but a bold flavor.
Yeah. And just on the mouthfeel, when I do a salad, I tend to mix 50 million different types of lettuce. You know, I throw in iceberg and greens and arugula, but that could be like your fourth lettuce, you know, because it's got that much bite to it.
For sure.
But not filled with water like some other lettuces. It's really, really nice.
I like the texture of this very much. Like I could see that as a lettuce substitute in a sandwich.
Exactly.
I would pile that up there.
Yeah.
And it does have a lot of intensity of flavor. It's not intensely aromatic or intensely hot, but there's a good concentration of nice green flavor here in the moderate intensity. Not sure I'm loving the wine pairing.
I was waiting for you to say something. I agree.
Yeah.
The
wine's gorgeous. I just don't think this is a right pairing. When I tasted the sunflower, it made me automatically think of some of our red grape varieties here because some of them have a little green note in them. So that red-green balance I think could be really cool with this. So I think we're going to try the Chardonnay maybe with one other pairing and then we're going to go on to reds.
Okay. So we are going to try the Chardonnay with the garlic.
We'll put this aside.
Doesn't everything go with garlic?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. So the garlic's a lot of fun because it's like chives, right?
Visually, these are such a range of visuals, hey?
Yeah.
That would really, I think, add to a charcuterie board, like you said.
Yeah.
I think it would look really good for like an Easter plate, right? You can make a little nest out of it.
That's right.
You can put something inside of it.
I'm just going to try it on its own.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing is just...
You got to try it first without it and then see how it pairs, right?
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting how garlicky that is. How cool. A lot of garlic flavor. Also some green flavor and a nice crunchiness to it.
So would you pair that with like hummus or something like that? How would you pair that?
Yes, I would.
Yeah?
Yes, I'm going to try that right now.
Yes, I would. That is good. Okay, so we've got the Good Earth Chardonnay. We're going to see. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You know, you can pair things in theory, and then sometimes when you taste them, just something just works. That is a really neat pairing. I like that.
Why do you think that works?
I feel like the garlic intensity is bringing out the fruit in the Good Earth Chardonnay, so it's bringing out more of that apple fruit, almost like a toasted baked apple kind of a fruit. It's a nice complement. There's nothing in the Chardonnay that's competing with the garlic. They just seem to be
that bit of oak
knitting together. Yeah.
That bit of oak meets it.
Yeah, with that savoriness of the garlic, right? Because that's a very savory herb.
Yeah.
Very savory microgreen.
Yeah, it is deceiving. When you look at it, it looks like little like angel, wings, kind of very floaty, and then
it looks delicate.
Kaboom.
It looks delicate, but I think that's the most power-packed, flavor-packed microgreen that we've tried.
Do you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that.
And did we go through the nutritional on this?
So the benefits of garlic microgreens is the fiber. It really is the fiber benefit that comes with it. That is the best piece of the garlic microgreens.
You could pair that like with a shawarma or something with a lot of flavor. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, like a falafel.
Like up until today, we have been putting lettuce on our shawarma. I think we might have to upgrade that, right, to the garlic microgreens. That would be really great. So we're going with things with a lot of flavor here, food-wise. And how was it with the hummus? I bet it would be good.
Oh, it was because this hummus has some garlic in it, so it was just kind of amplifying all of that, and it was really nice.
And there's just something magical about how it's working with the wine. It just is working.
It's good.
Just take our word for it.
Yeah, it's working.
It's working. Okay.
Test is working.
Yeah, I put it down to that bit of oak that gives it that gravitas.
Yeah.
That, but it might be interesting to see some of the reds with it.
Yeah, let's do that. So we haven't tasted any reds yet. We have 3 wonderful reds here from 3 different producers. We should probably let's start with the Good Earth Pinot Noir. Yes, that one. Excellent. The wine just magically shows up. I love that.
The wine just shows up.
I want that at my house where I just think of a wine and it appears. Yeah. Okay. So again, a really lovely expression of Niagara Pinot Noir. All 3 of these producers, so we have the Good Earth, we have Fougalaire, and we have Divergence. I think they offer really great value as far as their wine goes, and that's something that I'm always looking for, is wines that over-deliver. So when you find them, it's just such a delightful experience.
Seems to work with microgreens just perfectly, right?
That's right. Natural fit,
more
right?
than you expect.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like we mentioned, it's that local connection, right? Locally grown microgreens and local wine. It just seems to make sense, doesn't it?
The Heartbreak Grape.
That's right. Not today.
Nope. Why is it called the Heartbreak Grape?
It's just trickier to grow, a little bit more difficult in the vineyard. And if you think about the magic of making wine, you have one shot, right? You have one shot in the year to grow your grapes and harvest your grapes and make wine. It's a delicate business for sure, and some grapes are easier to grow than others. And Pinot Noir, can be a little bit harder to grow, so can cause some heartbreak.
But it's a lighter red. So it's a good place to start on the continuum if you're shifting from your whites to your reds.
Yeah, so we're about to taste 3 reds. We have Pinot Noir, and then we're going to follow that up with Divergence Gamay, and then finally the Fougalaire Cab Franc. And so we'll be tasting from lightest to heaviest so that our palates can calibrate upwards as we're tasting. And we're going to pair all with the garlic. Although I think we were going to try them with the sunflower as well. So let's do sunflower first, because in the sunflower garlic comparison, the sunflower would be a milder flavor than the garlic. So I think we should start with that.
Start with sunflower.
Yeah. So I'm just going to recalibrate my palate. That's what it's called. I'm just going to take a sip, because the last thing we tasted was garlic, right? So I'm going to refresh and start again with this wine. And this is a really classic Pinot Noir. It's got that nice bright, crunchy red fruit. It's got a little bit of earthiness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some describe it as like a mushroom kind
Yeah, mushroom. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're back to the sunflower.
So it seems as if our fibrous microgreens seem to be more favorable in the red variety than in the white.
Maybe there's more density in the microgreens?
Yeah.
Yeah, so red wines tend to be more full-bodied than white wines, so that makes sense. If the microgreen has more density because of the fiber content, I think it makes sense that it goes with the reds.
That makes sense, yeah.
like that.
I just reminded myself how good that is.
Yeah.
Something you continue to experience over and over again.
Well, again, who would pair red wine with salad? Right? You're having, let's say you're a vegetarian, and you're having salad with chickpeas on it or something, and you really want red wine.
You can pair red wine with salad. In fact, you can pair the Good Earth Pinot Noir with a salad dressed with a sunflower. I think that would be perfect, don't you?
Yep.
I think that's a winner.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
works.
Yeah, sure does.
Good.
I'm just freebasing them by themselves at this point.
That's right. Yeah, I like how in Niagara too, you know, with our cool climate growing region, there often is like a hint of greenness to our wines. That it doesn't come out in the Pinot Noir, for example, when you just drink the wine on its own, but the greenness of the sunflower really complements, I think, and just fits in there, you know, fits in there really well in the spectrum of flavors.
agree.
So I like that. And I like the weight of the sunflower with the weight of the Pinot Noir
Yeah.
as well.
It's a lovely wine.
So they're a good pairing. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's a check mark.
Yeah,
Is,
check mark,
is someone
yeah.
keeping track of our of our
We need a
winners
score
here?
sheet.
We'll get our editor to
Yeah.
put some checks on
That's
the
right.
screen there and a
Yeah.
list of what the pairings are, and we'll make it work.
Okay, so I think we are going to now, I think we taste all the wines with the sunflowers. So
Okay.
we are going
Sounds
to,
good. Okay, before we do garlic,
yeah.
it's confusing.
we're going to go with the Divergence Gamay Noir 2022. Absolutely gorgeous. This is 20 Mile Bench fruit.
How would a Gamay Noir differ from a Pinot Noir?
I find Gamay Noirs tend to be a little bit more fruit forward. So Gamay is the grape of Beaujolais, if you're familiar with Beaujolais, but it's also something that we do really well here in Niagara. Tends not to be as earthy as Pinot Noir. So Pinot Noir really has that balance of, you know, crunchy red fruit and often that mushroom earthy character you mentioned. Often to me, and it depends how it's made or where it's grown, but to me, Gamay Noir has more of that pure fruit flavor. A little more, I think, intensity of flavor sometimes too. Okay, so we'll just recalibrate here.
Gamay Noir.
Yeah, so in the nose you're getting that sort of that bright red,
I
you know,
see what
berry
mean.
fruit
Yeah,
flavor.
Exactly what you said.
Yeah.
So this is the next step up from the Pinot Noir, is what you're saying?
In body.
Okay.
Yeah, in body and flavor intensity. So that's why it's following the Pinot Noir. If we started here, we probably wouldn't be able to detect the nuances of the Pinot Noir as much. So we want to escalate.
Okay. So in theory, it should go great with the sunflower, as well as the garlic.
We're not talking much because we're too busy tasting. I liked it better with the Pinot Noir.
I agree.
I feel like there's maybe just a clash of flavors here that's just not working as well.
I feel like this is a little more delicate. It's where the intensity in this comes from is the turgor and the mouth feel. It's, you know, it's got a body to it when you chew it, like a lettuce, and a more delicate flavor. So I feel like the wine is really, in this case, overpowering it a bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this Gamay is going to be great with the garlic.
Yes.
We're going to test that theory in a moment.
Yep.
But I think the sunflowers were better with the Pinot Noir. Okay, so we're moving on to the garlic microgreen, and we're looking for a wine with some flavor intensity and some oomph, and we think a very good place to start is the Divergence Gamay Noir. So we're going to check that out. And remember, this microgreen had lots of flavor, right? It's deceivingly light and airy looking because it is not light and airy tasting.
Yes, you don't need a lot of it for...
But it'll definitely add to your dish. You don't need much to make it a full dish, for sure. How does it pair?
I like it.
I love it.
So when I tasted the garlic microgreen, the first taste was like a peppery note, and then the like garlic, you think of garlic, kicks in on the finish. Adding a peppery note to Gamay is brilliant.
Yeah.
So lots of wines definitely have a black pepper note to them, and this is just harmonious, and I think it's a really great pairing.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's a win.
It found its match.
Found its spot.
I'm going to also guess that the Fulglar Cabernet Franc is going to be equally as good. So this is a wine that's just got a little bit more weight to it, but I think the garlic is going to be able to stand up to it. What do you think, Michelle?
Yeah, it's got some nice on the nose.
You're just really enjoying the garlic, are you? It's good. You got to keep refreshing that palate.
It's got some nice tannins.
It's a nice ripe version of a Cabernet Franc. It's got some good tannins. It's got some nice oak.
And I was taught that wine like that, so when we say tannins, it almost has, like, it dries your tongue. So there's a drying sort of sensation. But that's really nice to have if you're having like a beef tenderloin, which is really coats your mouth. Then having those tannins come in will almost uncoat it between bites, so that, you know, that's where it can work with the food.
Makes a lot of sense.
This is a winner for me.
A winner?
This is like Sunday dinner. You know, I just think this is a special meal. You know, if you were serving something like, let's just say pot roast or something, and you just dressed it with the microgreens, I think this wine is perfect with that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking even, you know, if you love roast beef and, you know, like horseradish on it.
Yes, that's what it's reminding me
Yeah,
of.
you could do this instead of that horseradish, and it's not quite as, because horseradish can like bring tears to your eyes.
And it's not for everybody, right?
No,
this is definitely, I think, more approachable for a larger crowd. Yeah. Gives you that flavor intensity, but not necessarily the heat.
No, not like make your eyes water and your nose, you know, flare up. So
that's exactly, you pieced together my...
that was the vibe I was getting.
Yeah, you did right, exactly. That's absolutely gorgeous. You know, or anything grilled steaks, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. Yeah. That's a good way to finish.
Yeah. A success. We were able to pair at least one microgreen variety with each of the wines that we had today. I love it.
And not just, I didn't feel any of the pairings were forced. They just sang. So the microgreens, and that's just the flavor piece, but certainly then the nutritional piece and how beautiful they are. It's really, you know, whether you're a home chef or a professional chef, it's a very fast way to really elevate the value of the meal, because it makes it look and taste great and look beautiful with just a sprinkle.
Of course.
I like that.
Well, thank you so much, Louise and Michelle, for helping us figure out what the best pairings of microgreens and wines are, especially within the Niagara region. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of our microgreens and wine pairing. We look forward to making more and sharing our experience with you. Thank you so much. See you soon.